What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So Riven, this is the Noxus champion I'm going to be covering today. Last week we went through LeBlanc and I also did a gameplay video on her as well, which is pretty interesting, let's just put it that way. But anyways, this week's champion is Riven. What am I going to do? So I'm going to go through what I always go through, which is her bio. Then I'm going to go through and review her skins. I'm also going to go through her story. She has a very old spotlight that I probably will go through as well. And finally, maybe some special interactions. She doesn't seem to have a login theme, which is a bit of a shame. So I think I'll counter that, by going through some of the special interactions. Anyways, I'll time through the whole thing as I always do. And without further ado, let's go. So, a warrior's blade reflects the truth in their heart. Mine is black and broken. Ooh, okay. Maybe we'll find out what happened. Did she lose to Draven? That might be why. Anyways, Riven, the exile. Built on perpetual conflict, Noxus has never had a shortage of war orphans, so no doubt she's probably going to be one herself. Her father lost to an unnamed battle, and her mother to the girl's own stubborn birth. Riven was raised on a farm run by the Empire on the rocky hillsides of Trevale. Physical strength and ferocious will kept the child alive and working on the hard scrap of land, but Riven hungered for more than simply bread on the table. She watched conspirators from regional warbands visiting the farms year after year, and in them she saw a chance at the life she dreamed of. And obviously we know this is possible if you're from the region of Noxus. When she finally pledged the Empire her strength, she knew Noxus would embrace her as the daughter she longed to be. Okay. Riven proved a natural soldier. Young as she was, her years of hard labour allowed her to quickly master the weight of a longsword taller than herself. No doubt it's going to explain in here what happened to her sword. Her new family was forged in the heat of battle, and Riven saw her bond to her brothers and sisters in arms as unbreakable. So exceptional was her dedication to the Empire that Born Darkwill himself recognised her with a runic blade, there we go, of dark metal, enhanced by a pale sorceress within his core. Who could that be? The weapon was heavier than a knight or kite shield, and nearly as broad, perfectly suited to Riven's tastes. Okay. Not long after, the war host set sail for Ionia as part of the long-planned Noxian invasion. Maybe she finds Irelia. As this new war dragged on, it became clear that Ionia would not kneel. Riven's unit was assigned to escort another warband making its way through the embattled province of Navorai. The warband's leader, Emistan, had employed Zarnite alchemists, Herberdinger, and moving on, eager to test a new kind of weapon. Across countless campaigns, Riven would gladly have given her life for Noxus, but now she saw something awry in these other soldiers. Something that made her deeply uncomfortable. The fragile Emphareal they carried on their wagons had no purpose on the battlefield she could imagine. The two warbands met increasingly fierce resistance, and even the land itself sought to defy them. During a heavy rainstorm, with mud pouring down the hillsides, Riven and her warriors were stranded with their deadly cargo, and it was then that the Ionian fighters revealed themselves. Seeing the danger, Riven called to Emistan, I'm going to call him Emistan, for support. What's Emistan going to do? The only answer she received was a flaming arrow, fired out from the ridgeline, and Riven understood this was no longer a war to expand the borders of Noxus, it was to be a complete annihilation of the enemy, no matter the cost. Right. The wagon was hit straight on. Instinctively, Riven drew her sword, but it was too late to protect anyone but herself. Chemical fire burst from the ruptured containers and screams filled the night. Both Ionian and Noxian falling victim to an agonising, gruesome death. Nice. Shielding from the scorching poisonous mist by the magic of her blade, she bore unwilling witness to scenes of horror and betrayal that would haunt her forever. No surprises there when it comes to Noxus. For Riven, memories of the hours that followed come only in fragments and nightmares. She bound her wounds, she mourned the dead, but most of all she came to hate the sword that saved her life. The words carved into its surface mocked her, reminded her of all that she had lost. She would find a way to break it, severing her tie to Noxus before the dawn. Right, so that explains why the sword's broken. I'm not a fan of that. Anyways, but when the blade was finally shattered, she found no peace. So she broke it because it was a constant reminder of the true Noxus Empire, their betrayal and evil. But then she still uses it. Stripped of the faith and conviction that had bolstered her entire life, okay, Riven had chosen to exile herself that's why she's called the Exile, wandering Ionia's battle-scarred landscape. When she finally returned to the village where she had broken the sword, it was revealed that her self-destructive needs had cost the life of their most revered elder, and yet Ionia embraced her with forgiveness. So this is the thing, the complete difference between Ionian principles and ideas and Noxus. Kind of one of the reasons why Zed was kind of pushed to the edge, because they were too passive. But no doubt in this instance it kind of works. Noxus was not nearly so merciful. Although the Emperor had long since withdrawn from the First Land, it had not forgotten about Riven or her runic blade. After fighting faithfully against those sent to bring her to justice, she refused to let any more Ionian blood be shed on her account and surrendered herself to the charges of desertion levelled against her. Okay. Honourable. As she returned to Noxus in chains, Riven remains haunted. Though Darkwill is no more and the Empire is rumoured to have evolved, she is uncertain what will become of her, or whether she will ever be made whole again. Interesting. Okay, so we get the answer to what happened to the blade and why it was broken, the motivation for that. We get to see a little bit about her upbringing in Noxus and how she views the different societies when you compare Noxus's ideals against Ionia's. And yeah, obviously it said identity she was brought back in chains. Maybe that ties in with the Warriors. Is it Warriors 2? The Warriors cinematic, or is it Awaken? I think it's Awaken. I think 2019. She's in chains. She fights Darius. No, she doesn't. She fights Draven, not Darius. Maybe that kind of ties in slightly with this as well. Anyways, good to read a little bit about her bio. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to crack on with the skins. So here we go. Here is the broken blade. Nice. Right, okay. Skins, here we go. Okay, so this is the original skin. I like this one. I like the bio one line. Clearly the size of the sword, and it's wide as well. Cool. I like how she's also trying to hold it. And the background, to me, kind of looks more like Noxus than Ionia. Anyways, the bio here says, once the sword master in the war host of Noxus, Riven was expatriate in the land she previously tried to conquer. Like most Britons in Spain, she rose through the ranks on the strength of her conviction and brutal efficiency, and was rewarded with a legendary runic blade and a warband of her own. However, on the Ionian front, Riven's faith in her homeland was tested and ultimately broken, having severed all ties to the Empire. She now seeks to find her place in the Shattered World, even as rumours abound that Noxus itself has been reforged, which is right, it definitely has been reforged. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond to people like Darius and also Swain. So, Redeemed. I like this one. Redeemed Riven. So this for me is like, once she's seen the atrocities in Noxus and she's kind of been changed by Ionia's principles, this is the reforged and glued back together sword. Or at least that's how I interpret the skin. Okay, pretty cool. So the next one is Crimson Elite. Nice, Crimson Elite. Reminds me a little bit of Warhammer actually in the design there. Though officially listed as killed in action, the rogue operative with a broken blade harbours no regrets for abandoning her comrades in their most dire moment. A turncoat became mercenary. She operates in the outer limits of civil society, lending her blade to the highest bidder. Okay, that's an interesting bio as well, and I like the design of that one. That's nice. Okay, so the next one is Battle Bunny. Who did a review recently that had a Battle Bunny skin? There was someone I did recently. Anyways, this is Battle Bunny. What I love about this is that the sword doesn't fit with anything else in this scene. Doesn't fit with anything else in this scene, but clearly she is peed off at someone. Maybe they didn't give her enough tip. You can see in the background there's a couple more bunny girls there, so maybe they did something wrong. But either way, she's not too happy, and you wouldn't want to be the guy on the left. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, interesting. I like that. I like that one. That's a cool skin, if you know what I mean. So the next one is Arcade. Right, okay, so this ties in nicely with Summoner Showdown. Was it part 6 or part 5? Really good one with the arcade theme. And come to think of it now, Sona was one of my favourite arcade theme skins when I did a review on her. I like the actual where they're going with. Is that Blitzcrank? I like how they're kind of going with the 80s, 90s vibe as well. I love the creativity there. And this was pretty cool. This was pretty good. Not quite as good as Sona's in my opinion, but it's still okay. It's still pretty decent. So next one is Dawnbringer. Okay, so this one is yeah, really cool. I love the sword in this one as well. Born from swirling energies at the dawn of creation, i.e. God. Okay, kind of. Riven is the living embodiment of the order of the cosmos, fated to clash against the Nightbringer for all time, which is the Nightbringer. Yona's got a Nightbringer one on here as well. Okay, so you've got like the yin and yang. She awaits a day when her light will finally break his darkness. Maybe it is Yona. Okay, cool. So the next one is Pulsefire. Yeah, Pulse. Do you know what I'm thinking about now? I actually need to do a skin review on Pulsefire as well. I've done one on quite a few now. I'm thinking I've done one on Blood Moon. I need to do one on Blood Moon and I need to do one on Pulsefire because there's quite a nice theme of skins for them two types as well. Anyways, Pulsefire, Riven, this is cool, I like that. A worshipper of temporal purity, Riven knows there are many others who would rather see time manipulated in their favour. These heretics give her blade purpose. She can only find true solace in eliminating all who disturb the natural order. Yeah, I like the whole lore and kind of the idea and concept behind Pulsefire. I think you could really run with that and make something like you could make like a kind of interesting series out of that, in my opinion. There was a Pulsefire Lucian I did quite a while back that was really good as well. Anyways, that's Pulsefire. Valiant Sword Riven. Wow, that one looks cool. Riven trained with Morgana in the arts of politics and war for many years, but where Riven walked the path of justice, Morgana envisioned a world ruled by the gods alone, ultimately defeating their master and assuming the title of Empress. Now tasked with bringing her friend to heel, Riven must face Morgana in combat or join her. What a great summary! What a great summary for a story. This is what I mean by League of Legends. There's so much like source material that you could run with to make epic stories. That little paragraph there, you could use that and you could have such a good story from that. Anyways, let's get back to the most important thing, the skin. Loving the dragon in the background, loving the Ionian vibe to it with the Spirit Blossom tree. Or not Spirit Blossom tree. I don't think the tree's called Spirit Blossom, but the Blossom tree. And the most important thing, her look there. I love the sword, love the colours. What I like about it as well is she's every other one she's kind of got, she's got white hair. I like this is probably the first one where it stands out to me she's got dark hair. But yeah, that looks epic. That looks so good. So next one is the Spirit Blossom. Here we go. Hold on. So then, no, I'm gonna say, does that mean that if that's when if she joined Morgana? Anyways, stop rambling. Spirit Blossom Riven, a brave warrior from the ancient land. Riven was what's that? Ignobly cut down in the heat of battle thousands of years ago. What does that mean? Does that mean like unhonourably, if that's even a word? Right. Okay, so the Cambridge Oxford Dictionary says that it is
ignobly.
Ignobly. Okay, so I got that right. He believes his grandfather acted ignobly. Wow, never read that one before. Okay. So what I was going to say, unable to find peace, she obsessively scours another worldly battlefield for pieces of her broken blade, possessed by a horrific darkness that guides her into oblivion. Okay. So you can see the blade is broken there. I love the colour tone on this one as well. And the Ionian flex with this as well. Yeah. We're getting good ones now. We're getting some good ones. Oh, and how can we forget? Perfect timing. We have Sentinel. So the Sentinel skins are some of the best I've seen as well. So this one is Riven joins the Sentinels, hoping to atone for her role in the Noxian invasion of Ionia. After fighting her way out of a rapidly destabilizing city of Noxus, she understands that her time may be fleeting. However, she believes her life is a small price to pay to make amends. Okay. So, I like the story behind that one as well, and more importantly, I'm loving the look. I love the darkness. You have like a little bit, you can see obviously the main colour is the red, you can see the red of the flags, the red on her cape, but everything's dark apart from her sword and her hair, and that pops up, really stands out. Yeah, that looks so good. That looks really good. So, I've said that looks really good for quite a lot of her skins. Have we got any more? Oh, we've got some more. We've got Legacy Vault. So we have Dragon Blade. Wow. Okay, Dragon Blade Riven. Once again, you can see it's kind of inspired by Ionia and Chinese as well. Maybe a little bit like Wukong vibes with that one. One Tale of the Kingdoms tells of Riven, her sword forged in dragonfire, descending into an enemy enclave in the aftermath of battle. Slaying her foes and freeing her captives, she rampaged across the countryside, crushing any who would enslave the innocent. So I like her character development here. She's obviously been taken on by Noxus. They obviously respect and admire her strength. She goes to invade Ionia, but then starts to question her her motivations, and if this is the right thing to do. And then it's a 360 now, isn't it? Yeah, it's a 360. So is it a 360? No, it's a 180. It's a 180. A 360 would kind of bring you back to where you were before. So she's done a complete 180, and I like that. I like that character development and how it shows that as well. Anyways, next one is going to be Championship Riven. Okay, a revamped version of Championship Riven celebrating this 2016 Championship in North America. Cool. I like that one. Okay, I like that one. What I really like about that is the sword. The sword's symmetrical in that as well. I'm liking the design and look of that sword. The majority of them aren't. You can tell it's 2016. It's a little bit old in terms of the design, but still it's pretty good. So, do we have any more? So that's the same one there. We have Valiant Sword, Prestige Edition, and that is the end of that. So let's look at Prestige. Okay, Riven's destiny is greater than she knows. One day she will determine the fate of the heavens, land and sea, and awaken the slumbering powers of the dragon within her. So do you know what? I've always said that Prestige Edition, for me personally, isn't as good as the original. This one is close. This one actually is actually a tough decision. Yeah, that looks so good as well. Is it better than the original though? Maybe not. Anyways, let me give you my top 3 skins for Riven. I like the fact that she's got so many skins. Quite a lot of champions don't have that many skins, or at least some of them don't. So it's good to have quite a few skins here. So, stop rambling. Give me your favourite 3. Okay, so my favourite 3 skins would have to be... this one's going to be number 1. That has to be number 1. It's too good. Valiant Sword Riven. So that would be my number 1. Number 2. Number 2 would have to be Spirit Blossom. That one looks so good as well. And then number 3 would be... the sensible choice would be for me Pulse Fire, but I'm not going to be sensible. I'm going to be silly. And I'm going to go for Battle Bunny because it's so unique. It's nothing like the rest of them. Love it. So yeah, that would be my top 3 skins for Riven. So what am I going to do now? I would normally go into her login theme, but she doesn't have one. So I'm going to move on to now her... In fact, she does have a login theme. Hold up. She's got one. She's got one. Riven versus Yone. So technically it's not her login theme, but since it revolves around Riven and she doesn't have one, i.e. login theme, I might as well go through this. So let's move on to that next. Okay, cool visuals, nice. Ooh. I was going to pause it and say something, but let it run. Let it run and I'll say it at the end. Okay, interesting login theme. So this is called 2017, just obviously another date. Yasuo versus Riven. What I like it. Let's talk about the music first. What I like about it, I like how it kind of at times it sounds very upbeat and light-hearted, which is the light side, which is the Dawnbringer, and then you've also got the Nightbringer as well, which is the dark aspect as well. So I like how sometimes it sounds quite upbeat and sometimes it sounds quite dark. Also, what I do like is the ending. Okay, that doesn't show. Oh, it does. Yeah, I like that at the end, but you also get it at the beginning as well. Kind of, yeah. But I like that. I like the sound of it as well. So that's cool. Also, I'm loving the animation and the visuals. You can see that she's at the top, Riven's at the top, Yasuo's at the bottom, she's the Dawnbringer at the top. You can see her sword at the top, his at the bottom, and then the yin and yang sort of thing. He's the evil side at the bottom and dark. She's the feathers, he's the horns. Interesting. I like that. Maybe when I get over to Ionia and I go through Yasuo's... Did I say Ionia? When I go through... It's Yasuo, yeah. When I go through Yasuo's bio and lore, maybe it might flush out a little bit more of this relationship between him and Riven in terms of Dawnbringer and Nightbringers. Cool, yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to the story. Let's go. Okay, so this is the story, Seams and Scars. Maybe she can talk to Gwen on that one. So, how came you to Ionia, friend? I'm sure the person probably didn't say it like that. Muramat tried to keep her voice light. She had never felt uncomfortable sharing a campfire with other travellers along the road to the markets before. So this ties in nicely with this here. This looks like in the background the campfire, and this is Riven, and no doubt she's going to recall her story as well. So I like when we have the unique art that ties in with the story. Love it. So this, however, marked her first time sitting across the flames from a Noxan, one of the enormous weapons sheathed across her back. How many Ionian lives has that blade claimed, she wondered. The white-haired woman glanced at her father before swallowing a mouthful of charred peppers and rice. Nice. Then cast her eyes down at her plate. I was born in Noxus, she said, her accent thick but her tonality nearly flawless. I have not been back since the war, and I do not plan to return. The Noxan's father, Asa Conte, smiled and placed his hand on her shoulder. This is her home now, he said with finality. Muramat had invited Asa to make camp with her before she had spotted the Noxian asleep in the back of his car. He had introduced her to her as his daughter, Riven, in the same tone, with his chin jutting forward in preemptive defence. Muramat hadn't pushed back against the strange old man's declaration then, but that didn't mean his daughter was beyond scrutiny. You have not answered my question, Muramat pressed, the chimes of her Mender's necklace clinging together as she poured herself a cup of tea. What brought you to our shores, Riven? Riven tightly gripped her plate, tension rippling through her shoulders. I fought in the war. A simple statement laden with sorrow, curious to hear regret from a Noxan. Why did you stay? Muramat asked. Why would anyone stay in a place where they and their people have caused so much pain, so much destruction? Crack. The plate had broken in half in Riven's white-knuckled grip, her charred peppers and rice falling to the ground. With a grasp, she dropped the plate shards before bowing ruefully. "My deepest apologies," she murmured as she rose. "I will pay for this play, and then we will leave you to your evening. I didn't mean to intrude." But Muramat wasn't listening. This guy, or whoever is interested. Instead, or she should have said, she cradled the broken plate in her hands and held the shards to her ear, humming softly. Silently, should I say slowly, she adjusted her pitch, calling to the spirit within the clay. The back of her skull tingled when she hit the right note. As the spirit reverberated with her hum holding the note, Muramat lifted her necklace and flicked its chimes until she found the one that joined her and the spirit in song. Okay. She stared at the chime in the firelight. Each one had been inscribed with a symbol that identified how to mend a resonant spirit. This symbol was for smoke, a single line with a curve that became more pronounced towards the end. Muramat lifted the shards above the fire to bathe them in the smoke. It took only moments before they knitted back together, with only a few cold colour seams and ridges to show that the plate had ever been broken. Hence the name Seams and Scars. "I'm a mender," she said as she held the portrait out to a wide-eyed Riven. "No need to replace anything." Riven took the plate and examined it. "How does it work?" she asked, running a finger down a thick black seam. "Everything has a spirit, and every spirit wants to be whole. I ask them what they need to mend and give it to them." "It leaves scars?" Riven sighed. "Scars are a sign of healing. The plate will never be seamless again, but it is whole, and it is strong. I even say it is more beautiful like this." Riven considered the plate in silence, probably reflecting on herself. "I am still here," she said after a moment, "because I have caused so much pain and so much destruction. I stay to atone." Muramat nodded somberly. Clearly Riven's scars, though invisible, ran deep. Perhaps this Noxian was different from the others. But then Muramat's eyes fell to the hilt of Riven's massive weapon, a tool for cutting, not mending. How different can she really be? We'll find out. Muramat woke bleary-eyed to a loud thump against the side of a cavern. Bandits. Here we go, time to prove herself. Riven had insisted on keeping watch throughout the night. Muramat remembered as she grabbed her heaviest kettle, but the mender was experienced in dealing with robbers and could always hold her own in a fight. When she opened her door, however, she saw that Riven would not need her help after all. One of the intruders lay crumpled at the foot of the caravan. By the fire stood Riven, surrounded by 3 hulking bandits. She held the enormous hilt, and Muramat was surprised to see only a broken blade attached to the end. Yet the weapon was still formidable. It seemed to pulse in Riven's hands, and she waited for the others to advance. Muramat's stomach turned as she turned to see the blade, not relishing the sight of a Noxian spilling more iron and blood, but she still watched. The bandits rushed at Riven, yelling incoherently, but she took a single step forward and repulsed them with a burst of energy from her blade. They dropped their weapons, then scrambled to find them in the dark. Riven could have cut them all down, Muramat realised, but she didn't. Instead, she raised her sword, which began to glow an eerie green. The magic from the weapon blasted outward and repelled one of the bandits as soon as it touched him. He fell to the ground in a catatonic daze. There we go. Didn't do much there, did she? By this point, the others were on their feet, weapons in hand. Riven brought her arm back, and glowing pieces of metal raced towards the Noxian from the cart. Whoa! The shards formed around the blades, making it look almost whole. Though there were still gaps between the pieces, the bandits rushed her again. So I wonder if this is what this old woman's done for her, or so they tried. Riven whipped the blade in front of her and blew them back against the caravan with a sudden gust of wind, knocking them all unconscious. That should do it. A bloodless victory. Muramat stepped gingerly over the defeated bandits. "What will you do with them?" she asked Riven, who had barely broken a sweat. Riven shrugged, letting the shards of her sword drop to the ground. "I'll just tie them to a tree until the morning." Muramat stared at the remnant of the blade. It didn't seem as threatening anymore, now that she had seen how Riven wielded it. "Could I see your weapon?" Riven frowned and took a step back. "Why?" "You don't need to hand it to me. Just hold it up." Warily, Riven raised the blade. Muramat closed her eyes and hummed. "What are you doing?" Riven asked in alarm, just as Muramat found the right pitch. A pair of eyes searching. 3 hunters. Hearts filled with hate. Thoughts with revenge. Burning. Everything burning. Muramat didn't realise she had fallen until she felt Riven shake her. "Are you alright?" "Someone," Muramat whispered, her throat dry, "is searching for this blade. For you." Ooh. Riven blanched, but her eyes revealed nothing of her thoughts. "What do you do, Miramat?" she asked in a low whisper. "I was wrong to question you. I wanted to offer my apologies by mending your sword." No, the intensity of the word took Miramat by surprise. "If you truly want to thank me, you will never fix this blade," Riven chuckled, a bitter sound. "The one thing I would want you to fix, you can't, but thank you for the offer." She sighed, exhausted, and collected to sit up the shards of her sword. "You should go back to sleep if you want to get to the marketplace early tomorrow." Miramat nodded and slowly made her way to her caravan. When she looked back, Riven was at the fire, sitting and watching the night. Not for the first time, Miramat wished she knew how to mend people. This is the thing. The sword is broken, but that was just a symptom on it. That was secondary. Riven was broken, and the guilt she felt meant that she broke the sword. But like you said in the bio, that didn't alleviate her feelings, even though she thought it might have done. It didn't alleviate her feelings. So the poor girl now has a broken sword, and she's no better off than before in terms of doubt. What I will say here is, though, a pair of eyes searching. 3 hunters, hearts filled with hate, thoughts with revenge burning, everything burning. 3 hunters. A pair of eyes. Searching. Ooh, interesting. So someone's after you. What is it? Someone, Miramat whispered her throat dry, is searching for this blade. Ooh, I like that. A little bit of mystery there as well. But yeah, really good to read. And clearly you can see here that she unfortunately wasn't even able to heal Riven, like I said there. Not for the first time. And that's interesting as well. Not for the first time. Miramat wished she knew how to mend people. So this is clearly not the first person that she wished she could mend. I wonder if it's another champion as well. Interesting. Okay, so what I am going to do now is I am going to move on to her special interactions. She's got a Dawnbringer special interactions. So I'll go through that and then I'll finish off with her very old spotlight. In fact, before I do any of them things, let me go through her abilities on the official website first. Let's go. So yeah, almost forgot about this. Abilities. So Runic Blade is her passive. Riven's abilities charge her blade, and her basic attacks expand charge to deal an additional damage. Nice. Okay, cool. So her Q, Broken Wings. Riven lashes out in a series of strikes. I've seen this before once I've played against her. This ability can be reactivated 3 times in a short time frame, with the 3rd hit knocking back the enemy. Kind of similar to Aatrox's ability as well. So her W is Chi Burst. Riven emits a Chi Burst, damaging and stunning nearby enemies. Let's see that again. Yep. Okay, cool. And then we have this one, Valor. Like, Riven steps forward a short distance and blocks incoming damage. Cool. Okay, and then her final ability, which we found out a little bit about in the story, Blade of the Exile. Riven empowers her keepsake weapon with energy and grants attack damage and range. During this time, she also gains the ability to use Wind Slash, a powerful ranged attack once. There we go. Okay, cool. So I've got an idea and appreciation for her abilities. So when I go through her very old spotlight, it will be too confusing, let's just say. Anyways, let's move on to the special interactions. Let's go.
The sword outwears the sheath.
And the soul wears out the breast.
Ooh. Ooh, okay. Hopefully get some more interactions between the two.
Only the light remains. Life is duty. Order illuminates greatness. Order reveals opportunity.
Okay, Riven. Like Quadra.
Their faith falters. A new light dawns above this world.
What's with the minion cannons? Or the cannon minions, should I say? Why do the cannon minions look weird?
Without order, the universe is nothing. Joyous is a life lived in the light.
Neela.
On wings of light we rise. The light will triumph.
Do you know what? Her voice really reminds me of Kale.
The future is bathed in brilliance.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Kale's.
I am the eye of the storm. You wander lost in your own darkness. How should I greet thee?
With silence and tears.
I just want to say, Yasuo's voice is so cool, isn't it? It's such a good voice.
Order has forsaken you.
Follow your path and it will break you.
What is chaos but a plea for order? What is chaos but a plea for order?
Okay.
Chaos divides us only for a moment. We will meet again. This is not over. Darkness has led me astray. He will pay. Eternal night fades before me. Fear has betrayed you. Why seek me if you didn't wish to be made whole? Know your enemy. Know their blade. How bright his darkness.
Is Yasuo the only Nightbringer?
Is not the past
Or is
all
there more
shadow?
Nightbringer skins?
'Tis time this heart should be unmoved. They know not I knew thee, who knew thee too well. Colder thy kiss. Those who live in shadow cannot dream of light.
Okay, okay.
Chaos into order, motion into stillness. What is broken will reform. You need me. Do not test me, demon.
Okay.
You mistake chaos for freedom. Your chaos is ill-considered. You abandoned your soul for darkness. Flee, fiend! Yours is a hopeless eternity. Discord will be bound in harmony. You fear dependence. You fear love. You fear the light. Good. Give your soul to the light.
What's the gold version? Is that when she's...
Let us dance, demon. You are dangerous, but I am more.
Yeah, he's got a samurai sword, and it's Yasuo. Come
Can
on.
your flames burn away your fear?
Ooh.
The light reveals the limits of darkness. Your freedom is meaningless without me. Our conflict is the crucible of existence.
Yeah, I wonder if there's only one. Is there only one of
You
each?
cower in darkness.
We are not meant for perfection, Angel.
I will live. You will kneel.
No, you will break.
It is time.
Okay.
You and I are from a time before memory.
A memory is all you will be.
Oi, shots fired.
Your true self hides behind a wall of anguish. From nothing, there will always come two.
I am here.
The world waits for our blades to meet.
They will wait no longer.
Demon, the time is upon us.
I am waiting.
Huh.
The light.
Is defined by darkness.
Leave me, demon. Order and chaos aligned.
Exactly. Confused?
The universe is unbalanced. There is no demon who can stand against the light.
Poor Hecarim.
The light fears no darkness. My conviction is as deadly as my blade. The damaged are the most dangerous. Your soul stands revealed. Your words echo into nothing. The light prevails. Your weakness is my strength. By my sword, perfection. Hope needs no shield. The light does not require you. I will bind his legion of chaos.
Okay. So you've got quite a lot of interactions, haven't you?
Liberation from the darkness.
Quite a lot of interactions. I'll give you that.
All kneel. Eventually.
When you kill them.
Fractured purpose is lethal.
Yeah. True.
Take refuge in death. You are redeemed. You chose a side. It failed you. Chaos no longer haunts you. All will bend to the light. Order tempers all souls. The most noble expression is civility. Chaos forfeits. Order remains intact. Reason strikes down emotion.
True.
Death has made your spirit whole. Your self-reliance was foolish. There is order to mortality. Dawn triumphs. From certainty, we triumph.
I wish I had more interactions with other champions.
So do the dark in soul.
So basically, she's got interactions with Yone because he's the Shadowbringer, isn't it, I think. It'd be nice to see her have more interactions with other champions as well. But by the sounds of it, it's just her that's the only Dawnbringer and Yasuo's the only Nightbringer.
Will expire.
Which is a bit of a shame if you ask me.
I have saved you from the darkness. Everything must come to an end.
And then we've got... What have we got now?
You're welcome.
We've got a bit more. Let's see.
Order and light.
And she really reminds me of Kayle as
The
well.
light conquers all.
Not just in how she sounds, but what she says as well.
You are lost no longer. All shadows fall before me. The universe craves order.
So once again, that's a classic example. She should have an interaction
Know the
with
light.
Kayle. I'd like to see that.
Soon the
Morgana's
light will
the dark.
bind them all.
Kayle's the light. She's the light. Interesting.
The light binds all blades. Fight back against the darkness.
Come on, live a little while you can.
No more words.
I love that tone.
Let the blade decide.
Classic, innit?
Better dead than done.
And that one as well.
Darkness muddles your mind.
If you run, you won't see me
Oh, yeah.
stab you.
That's
Dim
the best one.
humor is the sign of a dark soul.
Yeah, it's the worst joke
Won't
I've
see me
heard.
stab you.
It's
Dim
terrible.
humor is the sign of a dark soul.
Okay, saying it again. Cool.
If you run, you
And again.
won't see me stab you.
Laughter raises us above the dark.
Won't see me stab you.
And again.
Laughter raises us above the dark.
Yeah, it's like a different version of a skin, I'm presuming.
Light nourishes my soul. Light nourishes my soul.
I'm guessing.
They cannot hide from the light.
Okay.
Dawn reveals all that is hidden.
Cool.
All will see. They will all know the light.
It's all about the light, though, isn't it?
Darkness lurks.
Which is-
I will find him.
Yeah, which is why I think it's a shame.
A vision of light will redeem us all.
Kayle, Morgana, Lux,
Nothing lasts forever.
stuff like that would be interesting to see her
The
interactions
broken
with.
in spirit crumble easily.
But, oh well. Oh well.
What the fire does not consume will consume the fire.
Okay.
We only have to open our eyes to the light.
Decent respawn, nothing impressive,
I
nothing
know
too special.
what I
though.
am.
It's alright, I guess.
I light the way out of darkness.
Wouldn't mind seeing her recall though. But
Righteousness
There we go.
binds us together. I am the conquering light.
okay.
There is no gray, only light and dark.
Technically not true.
Yesterday was darkness. Tomorrow we wake. The universe waits and trembles. The triumphant move together. We are not alone.
She got so many voice lines. So many.
Adversity is the first path to truth.
But it's just all like statements.
And all that's best of dark and bright.
I just wish there was more interactions. Well, yeah, so that kind of sums it up there. Decent to go through the Dawnbringer's Riven special interactions. I love the interactions between her and Yoni, which is the Nightbringer. And I think it's a shame that it seems to be kind of isolated just to him. I'd love to see an interaction between her and Kale. I think they're very similar with all the whole thing about light and all that other good stuff. Also Lux, also maybe Silas, and also Morgana. There will be some interesting interactions I'd like to see. Quite a lot of generic ones in there as well. But overall, pretty good, pretty decent. So I'm going to finish things off now with her very, and I say very old Spotlight. I think it's 9 years old. But anyway, without further ado, let's finish things off with the Spotlight. Here we
Welcome
go.
to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring Riven, the Exile.
Okay. Like
Riven
Pike.
is a melee fighter who
Holding that
specializes in
backhanded.
mobility and intricate ability combos. Playing her perfectly will require timing, planning, and
So it looks
managing
like
your
she's got 3
cooldowns.
skins at this point.
Broken Wings is a 3-part ability. You can activate it up to 3 times,
Okay.
dashing forward and damaging enemies with each
Oh,
use.
it's the same.
The third activation will also knock back those enemies.
Okay.
If you activate the ability while your cursor is hovering over an enemy, Riven will dash toward that enemy. Otherwise, Riven will dash in the direction she is facing.
Okay.
Key Burst damages and briefly stuns nearby enemies. Valor
Runs
causes
off.
Riven to dash toward your cursor and gives her a temporary damage-blocking shield. Blade of the Exile is Riven's ultimate. This ability reforges Riven's broken sword, giving her bonus damage plus increased range on her attacks and offensive abilities. You can activate the ability a second time to cast Wind Slash, sending out a skill shot cone nuke that damages all enemies in its path. This nuke deals more damage to enemies who are injured.
Okay.
Riven's passive is the Art of War. After each ability cast, Riven gains a buff, which can stack a few times.
It's kind of
Basic
similar.
attacks
I
performed
think.
by Riven while she holds this buff deal bonus damage and
Yeah.
consume 1 stack.
Yep.
Unless you attack in between some of your abilities, you can hit the stat cap and waste some of your passive potential. Early on, Riven has an excellent harass game.
Look
While
at the
you do put
graphics.
yourself in danger doing it, tossing
Love it.
around Broken Wings and dealing damage with the Art of War will give you a leg up. In this case, chasing around Singed isn't very smart, but I'm able
Do you know what I think they should do? As like a special event. League of Legends as a special event should have a old school map. A map like this, for obviously a limited period of time, maybe a week or 2 weeks, they should have an old school map. That would be so cool. If that's even possible. It's probably not even possible anymore, but if they could have like an old school map having the graphics like this, that would be so good.
to constantly poke at him. At level 3, I can head in with Valor, use the shield to block counterattacks, and blast through my abilities with basic attacks in between casts. As I repeat this process, he keeps getting lower and lower until I dive in for the kill. Valor into Broken Wings lets me land Key Burst. Watch as I land 1 basic attack in between each use of Broken Wings. As he flashes out, I chase in and pick up First Blood. Once Singed comes back into lane, I'm able to play as a total bully. Because of Riven's mobility, once you gain the advantage, you should try to keep it. 1 combo gets him to half health, and then after the cooldown, I push in again. I stick to him with Broken Wings, block up his movement with Key Burst, and finish him off with Blade of the Exile.
That's the end of that. Wow.
At this point, Singed is underfarmed. A lot of games have that one opponent who ends up being an easy kill, so let's look at how to take those champions down as quickly as possible. Lead with Broken Wings into Key Burst and land a basic attack while he's stunned. Then close back into range with Broken Wings and hit another attack. Hit Broken Wings a 3rd time for the knockback and attack again. Now you want to use Valor to chase as he runs, landing another attack. I ended up having to waste Flash because I activated Sword of the Exile far too late. Ideally, you want to pop it early in the fight for the bonus damage, and then activate Wind Slash for the killing blow.
Almost.
Riven's high mobility makes her great at chasing champions, even if they have crowd control spells. I run to Lux, who's extremely low. As she turns to fire Light Binding, I turn to the side, move my cursor away from the spell, and dodge with Valor.
Nice.
Then I head back her way and push through with Broken Wings. Unfortunately, she's just out of range, but I keep chasing. As I follow, she makes the mistake of trying to juke me by turning around. but I close the gap immediately with Valor and Broken Wings. Even with the light binding, I make sure to face the right way, activate Broken Wings 2 more times, and kill her during the knockback. In the same vein, Riven is really good at running away. I activate Valor again and use Broken Wings to create more distance. Make sure you keep giving Riven movement commands in between activations of Broken Wings to make sure she's heading in the right direction. As Singed catches up, I put on a shield with Valor, tanking the fling until my team arrives. As Kog'Maw comes to help, I use Exhaust, Ki Burst, and Broken Wings for damage. As Singed creates distance, I Valor back into range and continue with basic attacks and Broken Wings for the knockback and the kill.
That Singed is going to be
I
so
catch a
annoyed.
Mumu in the jungle.
He's going to be so
because
annoyed.
he's not running, I space out my abilities. Ki Burst, attack, Broken Wings, attack, Broken Wings, attack, Broken Wings, attack, Valor, attack, Ki Burst. The Mumu runs away after hitting his ultimate. I could have dropped him with Blade of the Exile, but I hold onto it as we chase him down. I miss Broken Wings, but Kog'Maw takes him out with Living Artillery. Misfortune walks up and I Valor into range for Ki Burst. As she runs, I land 3 attacks empowered by the Art of War, picking up the kill. We get into a teamfight in the enemy base. I attack Singed,
Look at the
following
base.
him with Broken Wings
Look
through the
at the
minion
base. That's
and
kind of
try
cool,
to
you know.
escape. Valor into Ki Burst get me the first kill. I try to leave the enemy area
That's
of effect
crazy.
spells, and then see Lux get low. I activate Blade of the Exile, then chase her with Valor, and shoot her with Wind Slash as she retreats. Karthus grabs the kill with Requiem and I turn into a Mumu.
Check out the
Ki
inhibitors.
Burst, Broken Wings, and basic attacks pick up that kill. Immediately I turn and Valor toward Misfortune, landing the 3rd activation of Broken Wings for a knockback, then 2 more attacks for my 3rd kill of the fight. For runes, I take Armor Penetration Marks, Flat Armor Seals, Flat Magic Resist Glyphs, and Flat Health Regeneration Quintessences. This setup is geared toward early game power, allowing me to survive almost
Get in
any
there,
encounter
Alistair.
in lane while
Get in
doing
there.
decent damage.
Boom.
My masteries are 21-6-3, focusing on increasing my physical damage as much as possible, and then increasing my durability. I take Exhaust and Flash for summoners, mastering Exhaust in the offense tree. I take a point in Broken Wings at level 1, and leave it there, maxing Ki Burst first and Valor after. I choose this build because the cooldowns on Ki Burst and Valor decrease with level, and I want to use these cooldowns to
15
increase mobility
kills,
and
7
to track my
deaths, 8
passive.
assists.
This build does not give you the most burst damage. If you want to head in and kill targets with an initial burst, you should max Broken Wings above Valor. For items, I open with Adorn's Blade. Then, I grab Ruggles Lantern and Mercury Treads, which give me a nice mix of damage and durability. From there, I graduate to some mid-tier damage and utility, with Hexbringer followed by Yoma's Ghostblade. Then I head into late-game damage and durability, with my main considerations being
Singed is
Bloodthirster,
dead again.
Black Cleaver, Guardian Angel, and
Poor guy.
Infinity Edge. Thanks for tuning in to the Riven Champion Spotlight. Please subscribe.
Okay, that was really good. Really good to actually see a very old spotlight on Riven. Like I was saying before, I think 9 or 10 years old. And you can kind of tell. You can kind of tell from that video. And like I was also saying before, it'd be really cool if they had like a special event where they went back to maybe season, I don't know what that is, season 2 or season 3 of League of Legends, where it was really old school. That would be really fun to play actually as well. Just to appreciate the difference between what we have now in comparison to what we had back in the day. Anyways, I think I'm going to leave it here today, guys, in this one. Hopefully you enjoyed my thoughts and reactions to everything revolving around Riven. The story, the bio, the skins, the special interactions, and the spotlight. And also, that login theme was pretty interesting as well. The one with Riven versus Yasuo. Hopefully we get a little bit more of that when I go through Yasuo, when I go through Ionia in the next couple of months. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.